So the Women's European Championship kicks off in a couple of days, Wednesday the 6th of July. And today we're going to talk about the best women's footballers in the world, and I'm joined by Flo.
Let's do it.
So we've got your list of the 10 best players in the world right now. Sam Kerr, probably the best striker in the world at the moment.
Yeah, obviously we're going to be talking about some players who are playing in the tournament this summer, but we can't not reference some of the other players in the world right now who are coming off very good seasons for club and country. Sam Kerr is certainly one of those people. She's had back-to-back golden boots in the WSL in England, 20 goals in 20 games in the WSL. Fantastic player. She's very aggressive, but she's a bit of a maverick at the same time, and I think you can even see from that picture there, she always plays with a smile on her face. She's very hard to mark, and despite her size, she's not particularly big, but she's very good in the air. She's very tricky, she's a brilliant finisher, she's pretty speedy, she's very aggressive as well, very physical despite her size, so she is undoubtedly one of the best players in the world right now.
Yeah, and just a really efficient goal scorer as well, which obviously works very well for Chelsea. But second player we've got here is Alexia Pettas, who I think has really come into the forefront of people's minds in the women's football in the last few seasons.
Yeah, definitely. As Barcelona have become one of the powerhouses in the women's game, so has Alexia Pettas' star kind of risen alongside it. She recently won the Ballon d'Or in women's football. She is now one of the most recognisable names in the game. She is a very talented player. She has a brilliant all-round game, and I think also the fact that she's at Barcelona, it's very hard to kind of move away from the comparison to someone like Lionel Messi. She is also Barcelona through and through. You know, she's supported the club her whole life, so that history and that reputation kind of follows her, and therefore she's become such a monumental figure in the game.
Yeah, let's just take a look then at the tactics board then. Pettas here is going to play in this slot here on the left-hand side of a midfield three, and yeah, what we're going to see a lot of, this is Spain. They're going to play a lot of positional football. They're going to try and move the ball around on the floor a lot, lots of little passes to move the ball down the field, and what we're going to end up seeing is these little triangles forming in this sort of area here. So Pettas is going to be helping them to maintain possession of the ball here and then dictate the play from this sort of area as well. So just be able to play these sorts of balls into either down the line or into the box as well. So yeah, what are your thoughts on what you would expect to see from her on the field?
Pettas is going to play a key role in not only what Spain do going forward, but also what they do defensively. She's very good at pressing and winning the ball back, and then she can quickly turn over that ball and create opportunities as a result. She's got tremendous passing range. She's very aggressive. She's very physical as well. She's very good on the ball. She's very composed on the ball. It's very hard to win the ball off her. You know, she often will have 2 or 3 players trying to win the ball off her, and she'll shrug them off like nothing. She can control the ball so closely, but she also has a tremendous footballing brain. She sees opportunities really well, and she's also very good at scoring goals. So she is a total package right now, and I think as a result there'll be a lot of pressure and expectation on her at this tournament. But she is going to be a key playmaker for Spain at the Euros.
So let's move on to our next player then, and that next player is Caroline Graham-Hanson, another Barcelona player. So what have you got for us on Caroline Graham-Hanson?
Yeah, it's not exactly surprising really to see a few Barcelona players in this selection. They are probably one of the best teams in women's football at the moment, if not the best team. Caroline Graham-Hanson is up there in all the kind of top 10 lists at the moment. She's a brilliant player, always tends to play on the right-hand side, and it's really her delivery which is her most kind of devastating bit of ability. She's got a tremendous delivery into the box, whether it's from wide areas with a cross or from the corner, and if you click on a kind of highlight compilation of her, that's probably what you're going to see a lot of the time. She's a massive part of the way that Barcelona play, because what I think we've seen with teams that try and face Barcelona is they try and kind of be a bit more compact and try and force Barcelona to kind of play through them with a kind of low block or something like that. Whereas someone like Graham-Hanson can just completely split that with a brilliant ball into the box, a brilliant ball over the top, and she's such a threat that way. So she's been a key part of Barcelona's success over the last few years, but also for her national team.
Let's move on to Ashley Lawrence, so a fullback who plays for PSG, another non-European, but tell us a little bit about Ashley Lawrence.
Yeah, she's a fantastic fullback, probably one of the best fullbacks in the world. Her star has kind of risen over the last few years as Canada have had more success on the international stage, winning the gold medal at the Olympic Games in Tokyo last year. She's very highly rated, she's very quick, She's very smart with the way that she plays, and she's had a lot of clubs interested in her recently. We're obviously not going to focus on her too much because we're doing a little bit of a Euros focus, but she's certainly one of the best fullbacks in the world right now.
Penelope Harder, another Chelsea player, another forward. What have you got for us on Penelope Harder?
She is a fantastic player, plays out wide or centrally. She's very quick. She's very good at just running at players. I mean, a few times in the WSL this season, we saw defenders literally kind of caught up in their own legs as a result of facing Penelope Harder. She's almost what you see when you look at NBA highlights. They're breaking ankles. That's kind of what Penelope Harder manages to do against players. She's very good at finishing. And we've seen the sort of aggressive mentality from her this season, where she's become really important for Chelsea at rescuing situations in the dying minutes or being that player that needed to step up. And she's really elevated herself at Chelsea this season, because I think it was a slower start for her. She has had a couple of injury issues, but I think she's heading into the Euros in really good form, and she could be really important on Denmark's chances of getting out of quite a tough group with Germany, Spain and Finland in their group.
One of the things I love about your list is that you've got a mixture of different positions in there. So Wendy Renard, I think she's probably one of the most famous players in world football. She's obviously been around playing for France for a long time as well, and she's very recognisable. She's very tall. She loves to score those goals from headers that you see on highlight reels. So talk to us a little bit about Wendy Renard.
Yeah, so a lot of people may have seen her at the World Cup in 2019, which was hosted in France. Like you say, she is very tall, so she's very recognisable. She's 6'1", and you don't get many players that tall in women's football. She's been at Lyon for a very long time as well, and they've won now 8 Champions Leagues, so recognisable face because of that. She's Lyon's captain, but she's also France's captain. She's very important to them. She's vastly experienced. Because of her height, she's obviously a massive threat from in the air, from set pieces, and she's very dominant when it comes to defending aerial duels. But she's also got fantastic passing range. She's good with the ball at her feet. I think as she's got older, and this is natural for so many players, I think she's lost some of that defensive ability when it comes to defending one-on-ones, or if she's facing a winger and there's a quick change of pace, I think she does struggle with that. But I think she's got enough support in the French team with some younger-ish players to kind of help her out on that. She is still a very, very important part of France's chances this summer, and also success at Lyon. Again, another player who doesn't fit the sort of usual profile of player that you see in the top 10, but Silvia Endler is a goalkeeper. She's Chilean, she's playing for Lyon, so talk to us a little bit about her. Yeah, so again, a lot of people may have seen her heroics and impressive display at the 2019 World Cup in France, which I think was a really important moment for women's goalkeeping in women's football, because I think there was this perception, a really negative perception around goalkeepers in the game, and the way that they were viewed and the kind of highlight reels that surrounded them. And I think Endler has challenged that in an amazing way, and I think we saw that in the 2019 World Cup, and she's continued that since. She's a brilliant goalkeeper, hands down the best goalkeeper in the world. She helped PSG to the title in the 2020-2021 season, and then instantly Lyon poached her after that, and she's continued that success. She had a bit of an injury this season and missed some of the season, but yeah, she came back in time for the Champions League final, and a fantastic goalkeeper. Vivianne Miedema, a lot of people will know all about her. Plays as a forward for Arsenal. Interesting positional flexibility. We've seen that a little bit this season as she's dropped a little bit deeper in the team. So what do you expect from her this Euros? Yeah, she is an incredible goal scorer, Holland's record goal scorer. She's also recently surpassed this season for Arsenal 100 goals, which is sensational. She had a fantastic Olympic Games with Holland, scoring, I think, was 11 goals or 10 or 11 goals she finished with in the end. It's interesting for the Netherlands. She will star for them when she does play, because she is such a good goal scorer, playing in that number 9 where she's thrived. But she said herself that she prefers to play in a number 10 role, and at Arsenal that's kind of shifted over the last few months with Sina Blackstenius coming in and playing ahead of her. But she's such a good natural goal scorer that she is bound to score a lot of goals in this tournament. But it depends how far Netherlands go, how much we're going to see her shine in this competition. The exciting and interesting thing about Holland is there is so much support in the midfield for Miedema. She doesn't really need to drop back as much as she does for Arsenal, because A lot of the players that she plays with are very good at defensive press and winning the ball back, but they're also very aggressive coming forward. So I think Miedemar's going to find herself kind of like hanging around a little bit more, waiting for opportunities and kind of lurking for opportunities, rather than doing what she does for Arsenal, where she may kind of drop back and play others in and then feed off that way. I think it's going to be a sense of anticipating and waiting for the opportunities to come from either side.
Ada Hegerberg, another forward. We've already talked about Norway a little bit, so Hegerberg will be playing alongside Caroline Graham Hanson as well. So how do you expect those two to fit together in this Norway team?
Yeah, Hegerberg is probably a name that many people recognise, and I can't believe she's only 26. She was the first woman to win the Ballon d'Or, and that was probably when she really kind of shot to prominence. She unfortunately has spent the last nearly 2 years out with an ACL injury. She came back just towards the end of last year and hit the ground running for Lyon, scoring the Champions League and having success domestically as well. And she then announced that she was going to be coming back to Norway for the first time in nearly 5 years. Hegerberg has been immensely impressive in what she's done this season in quite a short space of time. She was very important in Lyon's surprising Champions League victory over Barcelona. Tremendous finisher and just impossible to tackle, to win the ball off, and really hard to mark as well. She's just so skillful, and even when she kind of looks like she's not having the best game, she'll pull something out of the bag, and she's a match winner.
So with Hegerberg, we're going to see her obviously at the front of this Norwegian team. The Norwegians have been playing a 4-4-2. We'll also have Caroline Graham Hanson playing somewhere in this team as well. I think we've seen her playing behind Hegerberg in their most recent game, but obviously, as you mentioned, she loves to play in this sort of area of the pitch as well. You mentioned that she loves to put these sorts of balls into the box.
Norway have a very good all-round squad, and I think maybe 6 months ago people didn't see them as real contenders for this competition. But the fact that Hegerberg's returned, Guro had such a good season, and Graham Hanson's had a very good season for Barcelona, everything's kind of coming together a little bit. So I think a lot of people are excited to see them at this tournament. And
so the last player on our list then, Antoinette Catotto, forward who plays for PSG, really exciting player, young player, has just sort of broken through in the last few seasons. So tell us a little bit about Catotto.
Yeah, she's someone we didn't get to see at the last World Cup in France, which was a massive shame. She had a falling out with the national team manager, shall we say. France, a kind of a chaotic national team setup. She is now back in the setup for France, and she is now PSG's all-time record goal scorer. She is a fantastic player. She's got so much to her game. I think one of the most exciting things about her is how good she is in the press. I think if you're a defender and you see her running at you, you are pretty terrified. She's really good at closing down defenders, forcing mistakes, winning the ball, and then turning that into goal-scoring opportunities. She closes down players so quickly. But she's very good at anticipating what the next move is going to be of a goalkeeper or a defender. She wins the ball back so well, and she's a tremendous goal scorer, really good shooting ability. So I think a lot of people are excited to see her finally play for France at a major tournament.
So let's just have a look at what France are going to look like on the field. So we've already talked a little bit about Wendy Renard. She's going to be playing as the left centre back, and then we're going to have Catotto up front in this 4-3-3 that France play. You're going to see these wide players getting into these advanced areas and then trying to get the ball obviously through to Catotto, who we've talked about is just a really dangerous goal scorer. So yeah, what's your thoughts on the way that the France team will look like with these two players in it?
I think top end of the pitch, really exciting. Robust and experienced defensive lineup. I think their weakness is really in the middle of the pitch. I think there's a lot to be excited about with France, but at the same time, you can't forget the chaos in the background at the moment.
So that's our 10 best women's players in the world right now. We're going to be putting out a load of fun content about the Women's Euros, so make sure you check out the channel.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do enjoy Tifo, then you'll probably also like The Athletic. If you watch our tactics videos, you should go and read Michael Cox. If you're into data, read Mark Carey. And if you're into transfers, it's David Ornstein. Plus, if you're a fan of any Premier League team, then there's a journalist dedicated to you, and you can try it for free for 30 days now by clicking the link in the description.